Hey everybody, welcome back. We are back on the ground with the 1927D, and I just wanted to kind of give you guys a quick recap on what we did to get the rear axle housings installed, the sprockets and the chains installed. I didn't film any of this part. Basically, kind of on a whim, Rudy asked me, what do you want for your birthday? And I said, I want to take a day or an evening and not work and just dedicate it on getting the D back on the ground. So that's what we did. He came over and we worked on getting this D back on the ground. We test fitted the right side or the clutch side axle housing and sprocket and chain, and everything went perfectly with that. So I'll kind of dive in and show you what we had to do to get everything installed on this. So first thing we did is we got the axle lined up using the engine hoist. We kind of put it into position, got it lined up. These bolts do not go through the casing. These axle housings clamp to the side of the casing, as you can see by looking inside the tub here. Well, let's get down here. That is the clamp and the bolt that goes through the axle housing, not through the tub. So that clamp has to align with a notch on the axle housing. Let's see if I can get a better picture of it here. There's a fin that sticks out of the axle housing. I'll grab a long screwdriver so you guys can kind of see what I'm looking at here. Right at the end of this screwdriver, there's a fin that sticks out of the axle housing that has to fit in a notch on the clamp for the axle housing bolt. So once that is aligned, or before you even do that, there's a series of, originally they were Velumoid washers. 8 to 10 of them went on each one of these bolts. Well, you can't find them anymore, so I found these vulcanized fiber washers, and I had to cut a flat spot into each one of them. And each one of these housings has 8 bolts, and there's 10 per bolt, so that's 80 per axle housing, so 160 washers total. I ended up using 10 on each bolt on this side, 8 on each bolt on this side. So this is the washer here that we used. It's a 5718 sump plug washer. It's a 3/4 inch center hole. So once you get all the washers stacked on the axle bolts, you have to align the flat spot that I had to cut into this washer with the opening, so it would look like this, if you guys see that. You have to align it with the opening of the axle housing here. Otherwise, if you turn it this way, this portion of the washer will be too thick and it won't allow the axle housing to fit inside the recession or the opening for the axle housing itself inside the rear tub. So once those are aligned, you can slide the axle housing all the way in, get your bolts tightened up or snugged up. You don't want to tighten them completely because you have to rotate the axle. This axle is an eccentric, so it actually is not centered in the flange casting. That's what the purpose of this arrow here is on the side of the case. In order to tighten the chains, you rotate that axle forward and it actually pitches the axle back, the actual housing back, and tightens the chain. So the way we did it was we got this side installed, put the sprocket on, but before you put the sprocket on, you have to lay the chain in the bottom of the case. You have to lay the chain in the bottom of the case and then bring it over the top of the sprocket. So once that's done, you can bolt the sprocket in place. It's safety wired in place as well. And then I rotated the axle to get it to the proper tightness. And you should have about 1 inch of vertical movement from laying dead or slacked like this to the top end of movement here. So that's about it. Couple pointers that we discovered along the way. If I were to do this again, I would dry fit the axles, the clamps, the bolts, and these washers before putting any of the sprocket or anything on, because this side I originally put 10 washers on, and we found out that that was too many washers. It wouldn't allow the axle housing bolts to tighten the housing to the side of the rear end case. So we had to pull all the bolts and clamps out, but we already had installed the chain and the sprockets, so it was really kind of a task to get our hands down in here to get these axle bolts and clamps out and remove those washers. So I would recommend, before you put the sprockets and chains on, to test fit the axle housings in the rear case with the washers. And once you get that set and good, you should be good to go. So another thing I did as a precautionary measure is I put RTV between the housing and the rear case to prevent any leaks. There were no gaskets originally between here, so the RTV hopefully will help seal it, along with the vulcanized fiber washers on the studs here, or the axle housing bolts. So that was pretty much how we got the housings and sprockets and chains installed. The chains, they have a master link, as you can see here, just held in place by cotter pins. Again, all the bolts for the sprockets are safety wired, and the wire is just to prevent the nuts from spinning off. They're not a castellated nut, so there isn't really a method to the madness, so to speak. I just go all the way through all the bolts, and that is pretty much all you need to do. So once we got that done, we slid the rear wheels on. I did find out that this wheel nut is, the threads are pretty much gone out of it, so I have to get a new wheel nut for this side. So that was easy. Just greased up the splines, greased up inside the hubs, and slid the rear wheels on. The front axle, also a pretty easy thing to do. We raised up the front of the tractor a little bit with the engine hoist, slid the axle and axle mounting bracket underneath, and this center stud, that was the first thing that we tackled. We got the yoke on the center stud and started the nut there, and then we slowly lowered the tractor down onto the studs for the front axle bracket. So it's just held on by 3 nuts. And Rudy and I also turned out a new pin for the center pivot pin for the axle beam. One of the things we will have to do at some point, I'm not going to do it this year, but we will have to take the axle beam out, disassemble it, have it machined in the center, and have a big bushing made for the center because it's very hogged out. So that's something we'll have to do at a later date. The bracket itself isn't really wore too bad because the pin doesn't pivot in the bracket. The axle beam pivots on the pin. So that's where all the wear is in the pin and in the axle beam. So that's something we'll take care of at a later time. I wanted to get this back on the ground and get some good test runs in it before we really tackle that issue. So another thing we're going to have to do, this side, the dust shield is missing out of the interior side of the hub. So we'll have to find one of those and readjust the bearings, inspect the bearings in the front wheels. But since this axle is coming back off anyway, I'm not really too worried about the wheel bearings at this point and the center pin. So that's pretty much how we did that. There's really nothing complicating about the front axles. So, and the rear axles, that's just that was kind of an if I would have known deal. If I would have known that we would have had to adjust the amount of washers on this side, I would have never installed the sprocket or chain until we had the fiber washers all set correctly. So that's about it. So just wanted to give you guys a quick update video. I know it's only about 10 minutes, and I'm sorry that we didn't film this portion of it, but it really is kind of self-explanatory. Like I said, dry fitting those axles without the sprocket and chain to figure out how many of those fiber washers you need really was the key to getting this set up. So once that's done, you know, you put your sprockets on, get your chains all set up and master links installed, and then you can rotate the axle housings to adjust the chain tightness. So that's about it. So hope you guys enjoyed. Got more coming at you. We still have to put the shift lever in, get the gears set up correctly, centered on the differential. Got to put the radiator in, magneto has to go on, and then we're just waiting for the fuel tank. What else are we waiting on? We got to make some plug wires. We got to get spark plugs, and then we got to start filling it up with oil and seeing what leaks. So thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll see you in the next one. And somebody wants to say hi to you.
Hi.
You say, thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching.
Okay. We'll see you later.
See you later.